What up, Phoenix Suns fans? The Suns win their third game straight and finally get back to 500 on the season. Final score, Suns 120 to the Charlotte Hornets 113. What a great Suns win that the team just pulled together right now. I've gone on a lot about it. You know, the Suns' main weakness here is rebounding and defense. And I've just kind of put those two things together because the Suns don't really have any strong centers. Yusuf Nurkic was the answer. Plumlee certainly isn't the answer. He just shows a lot of hustle, which this team does need. Oso is there, but he still makes a lot of mistakes on defense, and he's not really like a ball swatting rim protector yet. So there's a lot to go wrong with our center rotation right now, and that sets up the picture for what you need tonight against the Charlotte Hornets. If you failed to watch our last game against the Charlotte Hornets, that one ended up with losing that one by 11. So to come back in this one, which is better energy, especially on a back-to-back, and taking down a Hornets team that had about a week, 5 days of rest because they were supposed to be scheduled for a bunch of LA games, Lakers and Clippers, but those have been postponed because of everything that's going on with LA right now. So they've had these past days off, and that led to them coming into this game extra rejuiced because they basically had a long break. So Hornets, they simply shot the ball crazy tonight. That's usually one thing you don't find about the Hornets numbers, but unfortunately it's something that the Suns let happen as they almost, for a whole half there, they were shooting 50% from about everywhere on the court. It was looking really bad. Problem number one the Suns were always running into that I already mentioned is the center issue. Mark Williams and Nick Richards are just way too long for the Suns, and they're able to generate so many layups, so many putbacks, so many rebounds for the Charlotte Hornets that the Suns can't do anything about. I mean, what are you supposed to do against a skyscraper? There's not much you could do other than just being physically tall out there. And it allows for more things like fouls, which really slow down the things. And that generally is what led to tonight's explosive effort from Mark Williams that had 24 points, 16 rebounds. It's embarrassing having him go that crazy on us, but I mean, what were the Suns really supposed to do? Plumlee tried his best out there, although he's old, quite bluntly. He does show off a lot of hustle, but against young centers like this, against the Hornets, he's just a step too late in everywhere he goes. So that's what led us to playing Oso for a lot of tonight. So big minutes from Oso. Mason Plumlee, just to finish up his starting lineup real quick. He had 2 points, 5 rebounds, really great efforts, although most of his plays were just frustrating. He didn't get that many rebounds because of Charlotte's bigs, and he had a lot of frustrating putbacks that he could have definitely had, but he just mishandled. Oso, on the other hand, played such a huge part in tonight's game, especially in the fourth quarter. 10 points, 6 rebounds, and was 3 of 3. And he had 2 huge free throws in the fourth quarter during the Suns' amazing fourth quarter comeback. Forget the numbers here, but they had a huge run to end this game. Exactly what the Suns needed to come back. They were keeping it close, although the Hornets rebound, that's always going to be their one crutch that they're always going to lean on. Having them shoot 40 and 50% from 3, that's an even bigger problem. Luckily for the Suns, the shooting on the perimeter is one thing they could control, and they controlled it as the Hornets ended the night with 37% from the 3-point. And that allowed what the Suns to get back into tonight's game. As like I said, rebounding, you can't really do that much against that. They still lost that horribly. The Charlotte Hornets had 52 rebounds to the Suns' 39. So that is just to paint the picture of how crazy the difference between those two things are. But it was 16 turnovers that the Hornets did that allowed the Suns to get 26 points off of that. Suns, they had 12 turnovers, so glad we got the turnover situation controlled. A lot of bad ones, though, that led to 10 points being concealed over to the Hornets. So that was just an overview of the game. A really just beautiful game at the end there. The Suns, they've been playing great. I'm not going to come here and say, oh, the Suns, they barely won against the Charlotte Hornets. Oh, you only won by 7 points against the Charlotte Hornets. Because we still won at the end of the day. I mean, we really needed this game. The Suns, I already mentioned it, they're back to 500 now on the season. And the Hornets, give them credit, dude. They've got a lot of good things going for them. Their rebounding is one thing that they've been really good in the league for. And they've got a bright future in LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller. All right. So it's just that rebounding that was the biggest concern. I'm emphasizing this so many times because it really is the biggest problem that the Suns face tonight if they really wanted to beat the Hornets. As some of that was luck, as you know, during the final moments of this game, the Suns were able to corral a lot of crucial rebounds by basically swarming the paint. But by the end there was like 4 Suns crashing for that board. Wish we could see that all the time, but at least we got to see it for when it really mattered. Suns still played amazingly. Let's just look away from the rebounding and that failure in that department, as the Suns played really great. The big three showed out once again. Devin Booker was tonight's game scorer leader with 30 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists. Just been enjoying his game recently. His mid-range has been really great. And his 3 points have now started to fall on. I think he's hitting a good medium of finding enough good shots that are starting to fall. KD, 27 points, very clutch during the final points of that game. 8 rebounds for him, 5 assists. And Bradley Beal coming off of the bench. He led the bench with his 15 points and 3 rebounds and 6 assists. And basically, early on in this game, it should go without mentioning that he basically gave a spark to the Suns offense. Suns came out flat during this start of the first quarter for the Suns, but Bradley Beal, when he was subbed in, he was able to get the Suns back on track and make it a game again. So huge credit towards Beal. I mean, it might not even show that much, but he was a plus 19. So that is a really big difference maker for everything outside of the numbers that Bradley Beal has done. Well, I wonder what the room temp is on this. So I'm asking you, Suns fans, should we trade for Jimmy Butler now? Is this a thing? It's been about 5 games with this new Bradley Beal on the bench strategy lineup. Bradley Beal becoming our 6th man. Do we need Jimmy Butler anymore? I mean, Bradley Beal has been willing to step down from his starting duties. He seems to enjoy it. He says from all the interviews that's a change of pace, but that's to be expected. And he's showing the numbers and just overall balancing this team a lot more offensively and able to bring a new energy if the starting lineup comes out flat like he did tonight. During these last 5 games, the Suns are now 4-1 ever since we've tried this new lineup strat. So I ask you again, Suns fans, Jimmy Butler or no? I don't really see the purpose of it anymore. Do we really need a Jimmy Butler on this team? We'll get into the rest of the starters now. Mason Plumlee, I already talked about him, and I've talked about Oso. Both of them very crucial. Ryan Dunn also showed some great energy defensively. His offense was really amazing tonight, something we really needed. And 4 or 5 from the game. He had 11 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. It's just another night, dude, where these rookies are just amazing thing for the Suns and a bright spot that we really needed. Can you really imagine this season without the rooks? They just give so much energy out there and so much fight on this team. And like I said, they keep everything balanced. The last starter we'll touch on is Tyus Jones. Now, Tyus Jones is an interesting topic. 5 assists, 3 points, 2 turnovers, 1 of 5. So that 3-pointer was the only point he made from the game. Honestly, I'm not seeing his role. I was arguing to re-sign him in December when his shooting numbers were crazy, but I've come to realize that that's basically the role that the Suns have put him down in, because Book and KD and Beal, they just have so much gravity during these parts of the games that most of the defense is going to go over to them to double team them, which just naturally leaves a guy open. So that naturally starts your offense for the whole play. Tyus Jones doesn't really do anything. He's not a ball handler. He's not a playmaker. He's not a defender, importantly. So that leaves his only role as being just a shot maker. It was fine during December when his shooting numbers were really crazy. He had a really good December shooting wise, but now that we're into January and it's been a couple games and Tyus Jones hasn't been finding his 3-point stroke that often. It's always 3-point strokes too. It's never layups anymore. I mean, that's also just a part of the Hornets defense that he couldn't really get that much layups opportunities. So that leaves him just being a 3-point shooter, and those aren't falling. So that is the reason why Tyus Jones has turned out to be so ineffective, I'd say, useless in these last couple of games, and just not that overall much of a role player that we've basically reduced to him now. So, a tough part on his end for that. And that's it for the starters. But I would say that we had a huge night from this bench. I'm starting to really love this bench. I mean, Bradley Beal, he's just always unfair. It's such a better fit for him, and he's absolutely destroying it, giving this team so much more energy, and he's loving his role. 50 points off the bench for him, and like I said, he was the bench leader, made a huge difference, plus 19. Also, I've already talked about him in his 10th points. Also, plus 19. Both of them really effective. Grayson Allen, who got 13 points and didn't see much of the floor that second half, mostly because probably defense. But he came out tonight and gave the Suns some huge shots from three. I'm sure I didn't mention it that much last game because I didn't really think it would be that huge of a deal. But I guess it kind of is. But what I'm referring to is last game of Grayson Allen basically running towards the rim and doing this Michael Jordan-esque up and under into the hoop. It was amazing.
That move.
And I didn't bring it up that much then, but I'm bringing it up now. And this game, he had a freaking 4-point play.
All over Durant, draws the double team, gets it to Grayson, behind the stripe, lets it fly. Down it goes, and give him the opportunity.
So I don't know what has been going on with Grayson Allen recently, but his offense game has just bumped up to another level. And I'm here for it. I love every single moment he's out there. He's got 13 points, 3 of 6 from 3. Just a really amazing part, but I mean, it's his defense, I would assume, is the reason he didn't see that much of the floor during that second half. Yeah, I still love it. I still love what he was able to do out there. And finally, for our last bench guy of the nights, we have to talk about Royce O'Neal, who hasn't seen the floor in quite a while. I don't know how many games it's been. And I believe in a pre-game interview of him, or it was like of Mike Budenholzer, they said he was rusty. And that's basically what I describe Royce O'Neal as, rusty. He had 2 huge threes in the fourth, but before that, he was 0 of 4 from 3, and just generally couldn't find his shooting stroke, even though he had a couple open looks there. He had 9 points to end the night. Those 2 threes that I already mentioned, and what I would describe classic Royce O'Neal play, where he was on the arc, he got the pump fake, faked Nick Richards out of him, drove to the rim, laid it up for an and one. I mean, that's just classic Royce O'Neal. But that was awesome to see Royce kind of get his stride back. He had his awful shooting night. I've always complained about him being streaky. But hopefully he could pick it up now that he's finally playing again. 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. I'm so high on Royce O'Neal. If you don't know why I'm so high on Royce O'Neal, if you watch the game, he probably didn't make that much of a difference to you out there as he wasn't really scoring. But I mean, he was a plus 25 out there. Yeah, that's his defense and his size out there, just clamping up the Hornets. Some of our best lineups that the Suns have are with Royce O'Neal, so just getting him back is a crucial bench piece. I saw a lot of Suns fans hating on him for some reason, even though he was a part of the lineups early on in this game that ended up making a huge comeback early on. And I believe he was even out there during when we were making the comeback last push in the fourth quarter. So Royce O'Neal, welcome back. What a game for him to do, to fill in corners, and I can't wait to see more of him. I mean, there's a lot of arguments you could probably make about the Suns here, about certain players not playing. But if you're saying that the Hornets are so long and defensively, and we're having trouble defending them in the paint, why not throw our guy Bol out there? Which my answer would be defense is his problem, as he doesn't really play that much defense. And I also think it was a size issue, because Mark Williams, pretty big, 7 foot. Bol's also 7 foot, but he's a toothpick in comparison to Mark Williams. So I'm assuming that's why they didn't put him out there. Mostly because of he'd probably get pushed around. He'd be snapped like a toothpick if he went out there against him. Which, why do we have him then? If that's the reasoning for Bol, why do we have him on this team? I don't want to say that, but like going into trade season, we do have to start looking at our roster more in depth. So yeah, another argument that I could see being made out there was Josh Okogie. Why didn't he get any minutes? I don't know. I would have preferred if he came in for Tyus Jones in certain minutes. But I'm guessing, also assuming that it was also a matchup problem, because Josh Okogie is also one of our smallest guys. Sure, he shows a lot of effort and defense and can sometimes score. He's a little more streaky than Royce O'Neal when it comes to his scoring ability. But I can't imagine Okogie doing much against Nick Richards or Mark Williams, which is what he would probably be switched on to, that the Hornets would take advantage of a lot of the times, and he'd probably foul a lot. Well, unfortunate for Josh Okogie. I like me some Josh Okogie. I have nothing wrong against the guy. But I mean, with certain trade rumors going around now, it sounds like Josh Okogie might also be gone. I mean, he signed a huge contract extension to begin the offseason, so I don't see why not. We could use him as a trading chip. We will now look at our upcoming games. The Suns are now 19-19 on the season. We have a 3-game winning streak, people. And I am also happy to mention here that with the 19-19 record, the Suns are now the 10th seed. We are officially out of the elimination category as we take the Warriors' place in the 10th seed. We have a 3-game winning streak. We're 5 of 5 in our last 10. More importantly, we're 4-1 in our last 5. The comeback starts now. And looking even more ahead, our next game will be on Tuesday, January the 14th. That's against Atlanta. Then we have Washington. So those are 2 also easy games. We've already proven ourselves against Atlanta. Literally, unless Atlanta like catches fire from 3, it should be another easy win. Washington is Washington. Enough said about that. But then after that, it does get a little concerning with Detroit, who have been really good. They are not a trash team. Let me emphasize that now. You got to come to terms. If you still think Detroit's a bad team, they're not. And then we have Cleveland after that, who is currently, I think, like the best team, the best record, the team with the best record right now. They are 33-5. What I'd wish to be there right now. But the Suns get the win. That's all I have for you guys today. So I'll leave you here. Next Suns game Tuesday against the Atlanta Hawks. That's where we begin our 5-game road trip. Hope you guys enjoy your night out there. Let's go Suns. Suns up. Another win. So yeah, if you like this content, please like, comment, subscribe. It helps out the channel a lot. So I want to thank you guys all for that. We just passed 300 subscribers. So it's been awesome. But we'll be back here with more Phoenix Suns content for you in every game. So thank you again, and we'll see you Tuesday. Good night.